I was wrong, or at least I think I'm very likely going to be wrong, and looking for further downside over the past few days. That is the topic of today's video, obviously coming off the back of yesterday's FOMC meeting, and then a bit of a Bitcoin setup as well, as we do reference a skeleton key. Anyways, other than that, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It is a very nice and actually sunny Thursday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. I do want to let you know before we get into the content of the day that you can still get the Jewel Light for free for the first 30 days if you follow the directions in the link in the description below. And then also Bybit's doing their World Series of Trade, where they have 8 million bucks in prizes. But as always with those sort of competitions, they kind of, sort of encourage bad trading habits. So I would say if you are going to enter into something like that, look, I'm not your fucking dad, but just be aware of that. Just be aware of that. All right, sweet. Let's jump right into it. Following up first things first on yesterday's analysis for Dixie. In this case, we were looking at a very likely rejective zone somewhere around that cyan moving average, that 9 exponential moving average, as you can see right here, which was 101.80-ish, 101.70-ish region, of which Dixie has found a bit of resistance around that region, and so far so good on the rejection. Daily time frame, as we outlined yesterday, did confirm that hidden bearish divergence. So yes, I would be looking for this one to kind of work its way sideways and down back to the lows that we did see in middle of July in this case. And then depending upon where the weekly closes, we can start to look for potentially more continuation. Maybe not this, very unlikely this week, obviously, because that would be the weekly, but perhaps next week, probably more reasonably put, maybe into like the middle of August in this case. Still looking at the downside area somewhere around here, anywhere between like 98 and a quarter to 97 and a quarter is fair game. Even the LARP line is kind of working out on this one. And again, that would be kind of an implied target from the descending triangle breakdown right here, which actually, now that I recognize it, I do have that a little bit lower than where it should be. So what is the adjusted area of interest? Sorry, it is more like 97.65 to about 98.30 or so. So I would be looking for at least a bounce somewhere around this blue box territory right here. Other than that, we can now get into Bitcoin. So I'm going to start it off over here on the 2-day time frame. And throughout the past, I guess throughout the past few days, throughout the past week, I have been looking at some more downside as likely based off the break that we did see below 29,500. But with the advent of this last 24 hours of price action, I do think that I'm probably going to be wrong on that. And we'll go over the reasons right now. So first things first, 2-day time frame is going to be showing some potential for hidden bullish divergence right here. Yeah, it is a phantom drive, but these do tend to work out quite a fair bit. And basically, it's a pretty damn clear setup right here as far as just that metric goes. As long as Bitcoin is above 29,150, which would seemingly be that next higher low on CME, well, that's in play. And this would just be a nice and loving correction down to that yellow 21 exponential moving average. A very shallow correction, but the past couple corrections we've seen throughout this, throughout the first portion of this year, have been a lot, deeper corrections. Which typically speaking, if you get a few deep corrections, then you can probably expect that you get some shallow corrections. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see something like this, especially as all the major moving averages right here start to move into a more bullish posture, and we see all lower period above higher period, and now even the white 200 simple moving average is going to be seemingly working its way below that green 55, so putting them all in the correct posturing, which we really haven't even seen since. We haven't really even seen it really since way back on over here in 2020, right? Where they last regained full on bullish posturing in this area right here, where you can see the cyan above the yellow above the green above the white, just working all lower periods above higher periods in that case. And then of course, once they started to flip-flop around over here, well, that was game over, generally speaking, in the long term. Anyways, now that we've gone through that, is there anything else that I want to be speaking about on CME? It's really actually just kind of that simple as of right now. 5-day time frame, no. Weekly closing tomorrow. Yeah, the weekly I think is also rather obvious here as well. If Bitcoin on CME does especially reclaim like above 30,000 bucks, that's going to look pretty damn good for potential short-term low here. Again, keeping the weekly above all major moving averages, not bad. So obviously it's a lot, a day and a half left of trading in this week is it's kind of an eternity in some senses, but for right now, there does seem to be some hopium on the other side. Anyways, let's go into the HPGR ranges over here, and we can see that on the 4-hour time frame for Bybit, Bitcoin's brushing up right alongside of the average of the current range at 29,500. So I would go as far to say that if Bitcoin can start to close back above that region on this time frame, then that would be a damn good early indication that Bitcoin's probably going to explore the top side of the this range, somewhere close or above 30,000 bucks. Still, however, to actually resolve this current range, the current range high is coming in at 3250. Could that be right? Sure, but I would be a little bit more conservative in this case. Still looking at about 30,400-ish region right here. If Bitcoin can start to get back above there, that's where I'd really be looking for it to actually continue on with this current rally. By the same token, range lows coming in a little bit lower than what we did see from yesterday now at 28,700 or so. So if Bitcoin does get rejected here, and we do see that prior idea of more downside as likely, that would be the next sort of area of interest for a little bit of a short-term stop, something like that. At the same time, if Bitcoin does start to close below this region, I'd have to extend my downside targets now to not just low $28,000 region, but high $27,000 region. So that'll still be within the cards right here. So it's going to be very, very important to see how Bitcoin kind of, grinds up against this region intraday here and see if it can actually start to maintain some closures above. Obviously, more is going to be better, but about 29.5, a little bit above 29.5 is the magical number for right now. Essentially the prior breakdown region. Yes, I'm looking at a 4-hour time frame right now. Preferably, I'd really like to see that on a daily as well, closing back above that region. That would start to mark this really off as a bit of a bear trap, at least in the way that I look at things, with very likely upside to follow, very likely back up to 30,250. Maybe even 30,400, above 30,400. I think that it's all bets are off, and Bitcoin's going to very likely see, a retest of the current highs of this rally and probably upwards and onwards from there. Going on into Snowcast momentum, we can see over here that the daily is actually going to be positioned to the upside as it did maintain above yesterday's pivot, and going to be showing continuing with upside momentum as long as Bitcoin is above 29,250 on CME, currently trading almost $500 above that pivot as of right now. 12-hour time frame also going to be vertical here, coming in from extreme low levels, and we'll be maintaining that as long as Bitcoin's above basically 29,000 bucks. It is also going to have a chance to break this regression here officially on the next closure, and the 12-hour time frame actually very, very important here as well, as we'll go over a little bit later, as there is a setup kind of emerging from there, which could very easily be confirmed today, intraday. But yeah, it's going to have a chance to actually overtake that region. 6-hour time frame also coming in, or was coming in from an extreme low region, as we identified yesterday, continuing on with that momentum as long as Bitcoin's above 29,150. And we do see another trend line regression right here, so it will have a chance to break that intraday here as well. But again, if we are going to be looking at this as likely as a rejective region, 29.5, you would expect it to start to turn around this region actually. So it doesn't need to be on this next closure, but on the next 2, maybe 3. So basically taking us into the end of the day, we would expect that to start to curl back down, and if it does, damn good indication that Bitcoin will retest the lows, probably continue on with the old dump-ola party. 4-hour time frame also going to be showing upside above 29,300, and hourly is going to be showing upside above 29,580. So very, very interesting right there. Now I wanted to show you this setup over here on the skeleton key. Actually, this one's not gonna be on the skeleton key. I use my streamlined script, but you can set it up on the skeleton key as well, because I know I'm gonna get a lot of questions about this, so I'll explain it later. But basically it says it's strategy number 6 from the quant program, just modified with special things going on there. I'll actually just show you for the people who have the skeleton key. You can figure out how to put this on, but basically here's what I'm running right here. Pretty damn simple. It is trading most days except for Monday and Wednesday. So in this case, if we go to the strategy tester and look at this one, or actually I should explain the setup first. When we do see that the 12-hour Joule gets below, I believe it is 40 is what I had in my settings there, alongside PMARP being below 50 percentile, that has led to, or when the jewel turns white, I should add as well, confirmed, that has led to, over the past 98 closed trades, about a 64.29% strike rate, with some pretty interesting stats over here. The average winning trade producing 16.25%, average losing trade actually pretty similar as well. So this one is obviously reliant on a relatively high win rate, or just a positive win rate in this case. The average amount of bars taken in trades, 47. But the average amount of bars taken in winning trades was 42. So that means that the average amount of bars taken in losing trades was more at 55. So, 42 divided by 12 is what? It's about 3.5 days. Or am I doing that right? No, I'm not at all. It's 21 days. Holy shit. I am in desperate need of sleep. I apologize about that. Very, very embarrassing. But you know what? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. That's why we have fucking calculators nowadays. Anyways, so 21 days. And why I'm bringing this up right now, because extremely likely, assuming that Bitcoin closes here or higher by the next 12-hour closure, which is coming in 6 hours, 4 minutes, and 30 seconds. So it is kind of a while. But if it does continue on with this white curvature right here and closes, then it will initiate another setup. And then these stats over here would be applicable. Should I do the average winning trade and average losing trade? Yeah, let's actually do that. This is gonna be fucking crazy. But let's just see. If we do see the average win, if this one does win and we see the average win even just somewhere moderately close to it, that'd put Bitcoin somewhere 33 to 34. If it does lose, it's going to go off of the last horizontal. So in this case, it's probably going to come all the way back from here, like 26,900 or so. So you'd probably be looking at a move down around here. So that's where it's going to define failure, I suspect. About 26,900. Somewhere around there. So pretty big margins in this case. It would be a rather large one, obviously. But first things first, it needs to be confirmed. That will be confirmed. Again, if this does turn white or stays white at the end of this closing period. And then we can come back to it tomorrow and see what's up. And especially if Bitcoin starts to, reclaim some of these critical regions that we spoke about over here, which is still, questionable, then hey, well, that would look pretty damn good for some prolonged upside, I suspect. What else can we talk about while we are here? 12 minutes into this video, maybe I'm making this one a little bit too long, but I did want to just briefly go over traditional markets. I think I would be wrong about this one too. Looking at NASDAQ right here, I was looking at this as likely a major high, as we did see, we did see one of our long-term targets at 16,000 bucks get hit. But this is pretty strong thus far. So, want to obviously see it close above the last week's high. But for right now, going back to the daily, we do see some hidden bullish divergence come off the lows right here. And, it is just a general uptrend now, isn't it? So I'll be looking at 15,450 as kind of a buffer to the downside below there. Then, I'd still be kind of rolling with the prior idea that, hey, this one goes for a greater correction sideways and down closer to 15,000 bucks. But until then, this actually looks decent as the marks just continue upwards and onwards. Same thing with SPY as well. This one's just a little bit more relatively strong in the short term. It's already making new highs for this week, I believe. Yeah, it's already making new highs for this week. So I expect that this one does travel a little bit higher, maybe 46.30, maybe 46.60-ish region before it does get its next pullback. But it is starting to, it's starting to run away like quite aggressively here. But I guess fuck it, man. Just bulldoze it all the way back to the highs. It's kind of crazy. That happened very, very fast. Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off. Just want to show that traditional markets are also showing some strength there. And especially if NASDAQ's heading back up, then that probably does bode quite well for Bitcoin. As we've gone over in the past, the correlations there are some of the strongest between traditional markets and Bitcoin. So yeah, I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off. As always, wish you the best of best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Friday for some live stream action. It's live stream day, baby. So be there or be square, or just don't come at all. Take care.